project represents a historic development for Smithtown. You're sitting on top of a landfill that was capped nearly 40 years ago. After collecting waste for generations, now, using the latest solar technology, we're able to use this same site to generate clean power, clean renewable power that will benefit Long Island and this community with this 4-megawatt solar project. By repurposing this land, we're able to give life and a better service to Long Island than it was able to do before. The panels you see behind me create electricity using no emissions, as well as make a very important impression and ability to help the governor's clean energy renewable plan, which is very important to us and everyone on this stage here. In addition to clean energy, this project created dozens of construction jobs, will generate approximately $800,000 in revenue for Smithtown over the next 20 years. This money will be used for schools, roads, and other essential services. None of this could have happened without the great team you have here supporting this project. I'm pleased to be joined here on the stage with Long Island Power Authority, PSEG Long Island, Smithtown, Suffolk County, and Citizens Campaign for the Environment. Representatives from these organizations are all here and have played a key role in this project coming to fruition. We'd also like to recognize Recom, one of the early developers of the project and the manufacturer of the beautiful solar panels. In addition, we'd like to thank the Izzo family, who owns this land and has been a key part of the development of this project throughout its process. At this time, I'd like to invite some of our partners to come and say a few words about the project. Our first speaker became Chief Executive Officer of Long Island Power Authority in 2016. LIPA is the third largest non-for-profit publicly owned utility in the country, serving customers on Long Island and the Rockaways. He's been a great supporter of renewable energy and clean energy on Long Island, and we very much appreciate his management and leadership on this issue. He's also a board member of the Large Public Power Council and the Advanced Energy Center. Please welcome Tom Falcone.
Thank you, Ross. Appreciate the introduction. I appreciate you hosting this. What a great day. So when I got here, somebody said, well, it's not a good day for solar. They were referring to the weather. But it's a very good day for solar. And it's also a very good day for New York and its climate and its environment. As you may be aware, the legislature and the governor passed and the nation's leading climate bill just this morning, which numerous folks, I think, were up watching right up till 2 a.m. You never know when these things are going to go. So that bill calls for really a carbon neutral economy by 2050. And there's a lot of things that have to happen to make that come to reality, but this is one of them. So I can't imagine a better day to commemorate a solar facility here on Long Island than today. It's almost like we knew what we were doing. So with that, though, I mean, I think that this both shows, the facility both shows the promise of that next era, that new energy future for New York, and also some of the challenges. And so the main thing, the promise of it is, look, we're here. This facility is a great facility on a great site. It's reusing a landfill. It promises jobs. Not only, I think the mic's out, but not only does it promise jobs, but it provides clean energy, it provides taxes. So that's the promise of this clean energy future. I think part of that promise, too, is it uses the latest technology for solar, and that the technology just keeps getting better and better. And a key part of meeting this aggressive climate goals for New York State is improving technology. That tomorrow's technology will be better than today's, and we've certainly seen that with solar. The cost of solar, if you were to go 10 years ago versus today, the cost of this facility is less than half what it was 10 years ago. So that's the promise. The key challenge, this facility, despite the fact that we are commemorating it here on the day when the New York legislature and the governor enacted such a monumental bill, actually has been in the planning for 6 years. That's just how much foresight and vision is required to commemorate a facility on the exact right day. We had to start planning 6 years ago to make this a fruition. And so it's not easy to build energy infrastructure of any kind. And yet we're able to do that here today, and it really is a testament. It takes a village. It doesn't just take a village, it takes a town, it takes a county, it takes good partners at PSEG Long Island and at NextEra, the Izzo family. So it takes a lot of people to come together. It takes voices from the community, and it takes, obviously, leadership. And so I want to thank Supervisor Orheim. I want to thank Suffolk County Legislator Trotta. Citizens Campaign for the Environment, Adrian, for being great partners, for PSEG and also NextEra, who through all the ups and downs over 6 years followed this through and made it a reality. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. It's always great to hear from you. Over the course of 40 years, our next speaker has served a variety of roles at PSEG. He is currently the Vice President of Power Markets at PSEG Long Island. He and his team have been critical in being able to develop renewable and clean energy facilities on Long Island, and it's very much appreciated by NextEra. PSEG was selected by LIPA to manage its transmission and distribution system, and Paul has been doing that as a key part of that team. We welcome Paul Napoli.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And echoing and following on Tom's comments, we are proud to be here today with NextEra and LIPA and Long Island community to celebrate the interconnection of this wonderful project, this 4-megawatt solar project here on Long Island. The Kings Park Solar Project is undertaken, as was said before, to produce clean, renewable energy while utilizing a closed landfill, which is a great win-win, a great repurposing of this field. It's really a great example of what we can achieve when we work together from all parties. The integration of this unique solar project, though, into the system not only provides clean energy for our ratepayers, but it helps us to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels as we go forward. And so PSEG Long Island is pleased to support a clean, renewable future on Long Island and to assist New York in its ambitious new goals while we maintain a best-in-class reliability and customer service for our customers. And as we go into that new future, and as the bill has now been passed, many probably will say, well, how do we make it happen? But we didn't wait for how to make it happen. We anticipated that this was going to happen. So at PSEG Long Island, we've been working the past year to ensure that we on Long Island will have our share well out in advance and well out in time of the goals that have been laid out. And we are well on our way, I'm happy to say. So thank you all. Thank you, Ross, for
Thank you, Paul. We are so pleased to have the solar project become a part of the community of Smithtown. We are honored to have 3 representatives of Smithtown here with us today. Councilwoman Lisa Enzarello, Legislative Secretary Donna Rubertone, and Supervisor Ed Wareheim. We're very excited to have you all here and really appreciate your support for this project. I'd like to invite the supervisor to come up and say a few words.
Ross, thank you very, very much, and good morning, everyone. This is a great morning. I would also just like to recognize part of our governmental team. Councilman Tom Lohman is here, Town Clerk Vin Pulio, and the tax receiver Deanna Varicchio went back to Town Hall to collect your taxes. And Robert Murphy had an appointment as the Highway Superintendent. So in Smithtown, it's very, very important that everyone knows we work as a team. It's a great governmental team, and I want to thank my colleagues for supporting us here with this project. This project that's here this morning that we are here to open officially is very, very close to my heart. As many of you may know and some may not, I'm actually a 3rd-generation resident of the Kings Park community. So when I was a young lad 60 years ago, I remember this landfill. I remember what went on. Sometimes it became a playground with abandoned cars, things of that nature, and we would come down here and mess around on these properties. We now in Smithtown are on an endeavor to clean up the Northport Road corridor, which has some abandoned properties that are contaminated. It also has some heavy industry uses, and we're in the process now of systematically going down with the owners of these properties and cleaning this up. So the Izzo family made this agreement. This is an absolutely wonderful use of this property. As my special assistant, Nicole Rajulo, and I pulled up in our 100% electric car today. which we received from a grant program. We actually received 2 fully electric cars. And if you go back and you could even Google Smithtown, you'll find that we have a great environmental record here in Smithtown. We've won awards. We have a terrific environmental department. And we are all in with renewable energies, clean energy, and moving into the future. With that said, I'd also like to thank the partners of Next Era, LIPA and PSE&G. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And we want to applaud Next Era for being here in Smithtown. It is the world's largest generation of wind and solar energy, and we are absolutely proud to have them here in our town. The solar farm will prevent approximately 4,500 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions annually that would have been produced if the electricity had been generated using fossil fuels. This goes in conjunction with what we do in Smithtown. Our entire carting contracts, which there's 5 carting vendors that pick up all of the refuse from Smithtown residents, all the trucks mandatory are natural gas fired. And that's a requirement of the contract in Smithtown, and that goes to the point of removing carbon dioxide emissions from the air, and we're very, very proud of that. This farm also helped to create 50 local construction jobs, also important to this community, and will generate, as Ross said, $800,000 in tax benefits over the life of the project. So on behalf of my fellow town officials, I would like to wish Next Era Energy Resources a prosperous beginning. Thank you for choosing our community to create renewable energy farm, and welcome to Smithtown, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. We're very excited to be here. Our next speaker is a long-term Long Island resident and a veteran of Suffolk County. He currently serves as a legislator for Suffolk County, where he has served since 2014. Please welcome Legislator Robert Trotter.
I too, like Supervisor Wareheim, grew up around here. I can remember vividly with my father driving down the pit into this hole, and right now I am standing on my garbage. And 2 great things happened with this project, not just one. This landfill, when they started to put the solar panels on, was found not to be capped properly, and in some places not capped at all. So I want to thank that gentleman standing against there with his hat on, who came in, Toby Carlson, who came in and capped this thing properly and drained it properly, and these gentlemen here, who had faith in the town of Smithtown to put this here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you solved 2 problems. You capped the landfill that was leaching into our groundwater, and you made it a positive solar plant. And I hope you continue down this road, because we have plenty more. Thank you, and thank you, Toby, because quite honestly, you saved the day.
Thank you. Our final speaker has been a friend and supporter to many renewable energy projects on Long Island. As the executive director of Citizens Campaign for the Environment, she and her team are dedicated to make sure projects like this are promoted and are executed on. We thank her for all of her support. Please welcome Adrienne Esposito.
Good morning, everyone. This solar farm is what hope and optimism look like for our future. As you heard, late Tuesday night, the Senate passed a landmark climate bill at 2 a.m. Last night at 2 a.m., the Assembly passed the same landmark climate bill, and the governor will be signing it. This bill calls for 100% of our electricity to come from renewable resources from 2040. That means we not only have to write policy in Albany, but we must put projects on the ground here on Long Island. And to achieve this lofty goal, it will be challenging, but we must achieve it, and we will achieve it with these types of projects. Wind projects, offshore wind projects, solar projects, battery storage backup. All of this are puzzle pieces to achieving the goal of transitioning from dirty fossil fuels to clean, safe, renewable power. Now, some people ask me, many in fact, what about the cost? What about the cost of renewables? And there are two responses to that. One is that fortunately the cost of renewables has come down as the efficiency has gone up. That means that renewables are now comparable with dirty fossil fuels. There's one advantage, one of many advantages for renewables, is the cost of the power. We know over the next 20 years the sun will shine, the power will be produced, and we will have clean power. We don't know, and we may not want to know, the cost of fossil fuels. When you chart the cost of fossil fuels, and who knows this better than ex-Chairman Kessel, it looks like a heart attack chart, right? It starts with here's oil, here's natural gas, there's natural gas. It's all over the map. So the cost is not predictable. But with solar and wind, the cost is predictable and it's consistent. And the second answer, what is the cost of not doing it? Particularly to Long Island, who's on the front lines of climate change impacts. This is a challenge, as I said earlier, we must meet. And the cost of not doing it far exceeds the cost of renewables, which are now comparable to fossil fuels. So this is a great repurposing of this land. This is the beginning of our transition with community solar projects like this. This takes leadership. Sometimes people say when the people lead, the leaders will follow, but it's also true when the leaders lead, the people will follow. So we need leadership to bring us into this millennium, into a new world of transitioning our electricity and our power supply, and that's hard, but we can do it. We need leadership, and we need public engagement. That's what this project has. That's how real change happens. So let the sun shine, and thank you very much.